All right, I feel more normal today, so I'm gonna do my October and November wrap up. Actually, I'm gonna do it in one video because I read 3 things in October, and well, I listened to 2 and read, I read 2 and listened to 1 in October, and then I kind of read 2 in November. I have been in such a slump. I am really hoping, I guess maybe I should, I don't know, that's like a Christmas card. Yeah, I've just been like in a huge slump. I did just finish my first book. It is a kid's book, but I did finish my first book of December. So hopefully I read in December. Okay, so hi. I don't know where I'm inserting this, but I forgot to do the giveaway for Lakewood at the beginning of this video. So I'm filming this after I've already reviewed the books for October, November. There's a couple of people that I couldn't tell if they actually entered or not. They seemed interested, but didn't say like, please enter me in the giveaway. So, oopsies. So I did write their names down, and if one of those people wins, then I will contact them. Or like if I don't hear from them, then I'll save like this pot of names, and then I'll redraw if I misunderstood their statement. So this is very exciting. This is like the most people that have entered. Oh my gosh. One of these is opening. Let me close it. Yeah, this is the most amount of people that's entered. So it's very exciting. All right. Okay. So, Britta. Ooh. Hopefully you still want the book because I filmed that a long time ago. So, yes, send me a message on Instagram or whatever. I have deleted my Goodreads below. I don't know if Storygraph lets you send messages. I don't have Twitter anymore. So I guess Instagram. Anyways, back to the previous stuff. But yeah, so I will do October first and then I'll do November. So my least favorite book, I actually don't even remember what it's called. What Might Have Been. My least favorite book of October is What Might Have Been. So I have a lot of displeasure. Yeah, it's called What Might Have Been. I forget who the author is because I don't own it. I checked it out from the library on first ebook and then audiobook. So I clearly did not pick this for myself. I'm part of an IRL movie. Sorry, I just saw my shirt. Book club. And so my friend puts it on, and it's basically like when you go to the book club, everyone puts a book in the hat, and then whatever gets pulled is what we read. And so this is the book that my friend who puts on the club that she picked. She did not like it either. I will say, my biggest anger is that I had a sore throat the morning of the book club, so I couldn't go. So that means that I listened to this piece of trash for nothing. I mean, I guess like we have a shared bonded experience, which is nice because I don't think anyone liked it. What's all that noise? I don't know. Anyways, this is a romance book. It's basically a sliding door situation. Our main character, whose name I don't remember, who cares? She is, a person who wants to be an author. Here we go. And she works for an advertising firm, and like the goal, I guess, was for her to write copy or like write things. I have no idea, but instead she's like an assistant or something. And so she gets fed up and she tells her boss, like, that's it, I'm out of here. You're taking advantage of me or something. Maybe not you're taking advantage of me, but it's just like, I'm sick of being dangled along with the promise of becoming, a writer. So peace out. Then she reads in her horoscope that she's gonna like meet the love of her life or something, blah, blah, blah. So then she goes to a bar, and while she's at the bar, some cute stranger sits next to her. He's a photographer, blah, blah, blah. His name is Caleb. Yes, I remember the men's names and not her name. Is that my fault or is it the author's fault? I don't know. What do you think? But she's flirting, she's having a cute time, and then who does she see through the window but the once love of her life, Max? Blah, 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 whatever. Sliding doors. Does she follow Max to London and get a job at a high power advertising firm? Or does she stay in her cute little quaint village? I don't know. And, try with this Caleb guy and try to become a writer and like live at her sister's house. So it's like two totally different lives. And, you know, we go back and forth within each chapter. There's like the stay section and the go section. Yeah, I just like, no part of me wanted to read it. No part of me was excited about any of it. I felt like it was super cheesy. I will say it wasn't like very poorly written. Like, I think it was well written enough. Like, I think it was probably actually just fine. It's just like not what I want to be reading. I'm sure it was fine. I have no idea. I didn't like read any reviews of people having read it, so I can't really tell you what other people have said. I am so sick of reading books that are basically like the author, or like the main character is a woman in the book and she like loves reading, so she wants to be an author. Like, I just like can't take it. I can't take it. I hate it so much. I hate it so much. I know I'm being so rude right now. No offense to this person. I'm sure she's cool and great. There's a lot of like really obvious things that happen, her relationship paths and what goes on. I just didn't care about any of it. I was on Team Caleb for most of it. Then I was on Team Max. Then I found out what Max did, which I want to spoil right now. I'm going to, spoiler alert, with her sister, what Max did with her sister. And spoiler alert, unbelievable, just unbelievable. I mean, he did it like way back in the day. Also, she was like, I don't know, she might not have actually been raped. There is an allusion, there is alluding to, I'm sorry, my cat is going to the bathroom because she also agrees this book belongs in the toilet. There's allusion to her having been like sexually assaulted or raped or something while she's on this trip in Australia. And all that ends up happening is that like he steals from her. And I'm just like, I just don't get it. Like, you really implied that you were like violently assaulted. I just don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, obviously being robbed is also terrible, but I don't know. Like, the way that she was speaking made it sound like something like really bad happened, as opposed to just like your trust being broken by a stranger who you shouldn't have trusted to begin with. Who trusts strangers, especially in Australia? No offense to Australians. I'm sorry, you know what I mean. Like, you know, when you go on vacation. Sorry, that came out not good. I love many Australians. The problem is not with Australians. It's with like being on vacation and like meeting a cute guy. Like, don't trust that cute guy. Don't. And there's a lot of cute Australians. So that's why that happened in my brain. Anyways, yeah, I gave it a 0.5 star. Again, I'm really pissed that I couldn't go to the book club to complain about the book with my friends because it was terrible. Then I have 2 good books, the 2 other things that I read in the month of October. So the first one is Piecing Me Together by Renee Watson. I probably gave this 3.5 or 4 stars. I don't quite remember. But this was so good. So this is, you know, again, a book that what a month of genres that I don't typically read. This is like a contemporary YA book. And it's really fun because it's set in Portland. I'm trying to see, yeah, you can see like Mount Hood up there. I don't know, I guess that's the only like real thing that you see, but it's so good. It is so good. So we're following a young woman whose name I also don't remember. Maybe it is me. Maybe I have a problem. Jade. So Jade is a young black woman. She's a teen, who is living in like, you know, the poorer area of Portland, which is kind of close to where I live. Like all the places that she was talking about, I was like, oh yeah, that's right down the street. But anyways, you know, whatever. So she's, you know, not from a wealthy, affluent family. She's got a single mom who I think is a nurse or something like that. She, you know, works long hours. So nurse or waitress, probably, I think it's a nurse, but that's okay. And so she has a scholarship to go to this like super fancy school, like down south, which is where all the fancy people, well, the fancy people are on the West Hills, but also like, you know, down, south a little bit. And so she goes to this fancy school. She rides a bus. And I think on like the first day of school, she sees another girl that looks like she's going to go to school, a white girl who looks like she's going to be going to the same kind of school. And she gets picked up in like also not a great part of Portland, but like arguably a better part of Portland. So north versus northeast, I assume. I don't know. Baby, are you doing something? And so she notices her and then she's like, oh, what's going on? And then blah, blah, blah. I'm giving too much information. Basically, this explores like so much because, you know, she just doesn't relate to anyone. I mean, that's not the right way to phrase it, but, you know, she has like her friends that are Black from her neighborhood that don't go to this wealthy school. And then she's got like her poorer friend that goes to the school who also has a scholarship, but she's white. And then there's like the, you know, the rich white people that go to the school that we don't really like, she doesn't really interact with a ton, but then there's like a mentorship program that she becomes a part of. And so it's basically a Black woman that went to the school and she's mentoring her. But she's from an affluent family. So she's interspersed with, you know, all of these types of people that in some way relate to her, but like no one can fully relate to her in any specific way. There's stuff obviously about class, about race, about weight even, because she is heavier and her friend, the white girl, is smaller. And so there's this like really interesting scene in the mall that happens that involves also clearly, you know, like racism. And it's just, I cannot express to you how perfect. The only reason I probably gave it a 3.5 or 4 stars just because like this is never again going to be like my type of book, because it is ultimately heartwarming. It is ultimately like, and I am getting a little teary-eyed thinking about this book. It is ultimately like a book showing you growth and strength in women. And for some reason, that's like not where I gravitate when I like am reading a book, which is a poo-poo on me. I know I have problems. The mailman is outside. That's a little embarrassing. So like, I think for the type of book that this is, it is a 5-star. It is perfect. Like there is nothing like, it's just so good. And like having lots of people being like called in, I guess is the phrase that we use now, for like what they have done to make her feel lesser, and like having people explore that. Baby, do you need to do that right now? Please. It was phenomenal. I highly recommend, if you're into YA at all, you should read this book. I don't think that I've heard like anyone talk about it on BookTube, but I guess most of the people that I follow don't really read YA, so maybe that's why. I got this in a subscription box many moons ago, and yeah, I am very, very interested in reading more of Renee Watson's books, because again, just like perfect. It's so good. There's not a single thing. I guess the only thing that like kind of grated on me was like, it was a little too much description of Portland, but maybe that's just because like I know where these things are, and it's like, okay, I don't need you to explain it to me. So maybe coming from a person who doesn't know the city as well, it wouldn't be as annoying. I'm not sure. What is annoying is this cat right now. So yeah, absolutely loved. And then my favorite book, I guess, of October is Binti by Nnedi Okorafor. Again, like a sci-fi. Wow, she's like going for that fish. Also, I guess YA. What is happening? I don't know. I don't know why it took me so long to read this book. A little embarrassing. You've probably heard of this a million times because everyone has read this except for me. It is phenomenal. It is fantastic. I don't even know what to say about it other than you should read it. There's really no reason not to read this book. And yeah, I just thought it was beautiful, and I'm very, very excited to read the next 2. Then for November, I just read 2 things. I finally finished the Paris Review, which is winter of 2021. I don't actually remember when I started this, probably this year. I don't really know what to say because it's been so long and in between. Let me see if I can think of anything. I thought that the art of fiction and the art of nonfiction were both really, really good. So the art of fiction was an interview with Gary Indiana, and the art of nonfiction was Annette Gordon-Reed. And I don't really know either of those people, so I was really intrigued by those and liked them both very much. I mentioned, I think in my last like weekly update, the Exhaling by Emmanuel Carrere was just beautiful. And the last one, Sterling Holy White Mountain. The name of the author is Sterling Holy White Mountain. This then is a song we are singing, was like heartbreaking and so good. And I'll probably talk about it on Monday. And yeah, I don't really remember anything about the poems because they happen so quick. And again, it's been such a long period of time in between me reading them. But I would suggest getting, a subscription because they're really good. And then, of course, Childhood by Tove Ditlevson, which is translated by Nina Nunnally. And this is in this really cool edition. I don't think that the other books in the series are printed in this like format, which is super annoying to me because that means that I'm not going to have them matching, but that's okay. This is, again, my favorite type of book and my favorite type of storytelling, just like, My Brilliant Friend or The Tunnel or even Lolita, like basically a human being that is recounting something that's happened and they're telling you who's reading. And I like love that. There is also, like a friendship thing in here, which is kind of reminiscent of My Brilliant Friend a little bit, but nothing plot wise at all. And I will say too, just language is right on the dot. I think a lot of people, and again, I'm sorry that I'm comparing this so much to My Brilliant Friend. It is what I have in my brain store to talk about. But a lot of people read My Brilliant Friend and like hyped it up. And then a lot of people, a certain type of reader started reading it and then like was shitting on it because of the language in the book, because it is very plain. Like people were expecting real flowery language, real poetic prose, blah, 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 all of the crap that I don't like. I like the fact that every word feels very intentional. It feels very to the point and like it tells you what is happening. And this is the same. Like it feels just perfect. I probably gave this 4.5. I have no idea. But I just, thought it was phenomenal. And I look forward to getting the next 2 in the series. And then probably at some point rereading them all like in a row. But I don't know when that will happen because I really need to read the books on my shelves so bad. So I'm gonna do I guess a giveaway of both of these, even though I technically preferred Binti, but it really just has to do with the type of book and what brings me enjoyment when I'm reading. I think this is like so well done, and I would put them on par, actually, to be fair. I would say that they are like of equal merit, whatever, like reading wise. But I don't think that as many people have talked about this book. So I would prefer to be, gifting this to someone as opposed to Binti, because I think part of the reason that I like giving away the books that I enjoy a lot. I mean, first of all, if I can afford to buy myself books, then I can afford to buy one book for a person a month. Like, I feel like that, of course I can do that. But also it has to do with me like giving to you something that I think is of value. And I do think that Binti is of value, but I think that everyone has this probably on their to-read list or has already read it. So I want to make sure that I am, also spreading love and talking about people that maybe don't get as much hype. So if you want to win either, again, this is for October and November. I will be giving away 1 copy of each of these. I didn't do my giveaway for my last one at the beginning of this video. Oh my gosh, hold on one second. Okay, just so you as the viewer know, I am going to put the clip of me filming the winner being drawn at the beginning of this video. So I guess right now I'll say thank you for watching. And yeah, if you've read any of these books and enjoyed them, let me know. And again, if you want to win a copy of either of these books, you have to specifically say that you want to enter the giveaway in the comment section. And good luck, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. I 100% forgot to mention that I DNF'd 2 things in November too. So I'm going to input that information here. I also vlogged myself kind of trying to read these, and sorry, I'm like sitting in a really weird way. And I'm going to insert those clips into this video. I don't want to do like a whole vlog for it just because it's just 2 books and I barely kind of tried with them. So I did just want to mention that I DNF'd Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski. Hey guys, so I need to try to read these books that I think I'm gonna hate. So next on the list is something that's on my cart of shame. Come As You Are, The Surprising New Science That Will Transform Your Sex Life by Emily Nagoski, PhD. I picked this up. Wow, I can't remember what her name is. There's a person that used to do booktube videos that I haven't seen in a long time. She was really, really great. Anyways, she was reading it and it seemed interesting, but I started it and I hated it. So I'm on page 48. It just feels very, I don't know how to describe it, but I'm not liking it, or I wasn't liking it, and I put it down. So I'm gonna try to see if I can, you know, power through or say goodbye officially. Thanks to Bookly, I can see the last time that I picked this book up was August of 2018, so 4 years ago. Oh boy. Oh. Wow. I think I'm gonna ditch this book. I made it like 50 some odd pages in, which is a better try. I mean, granted, I was already on page 40. 49, I think. But yeah, it's just, I think this is like my least favorite genre. Like pseudoscience isn't right, like pop science. So like the Mary Roach book, Stiff, I didn't like very much either. And this is kind of like that. It's just like very commercial. Like I'm more interested in actual real science. There's like a part where she's like, this isn't like actual science about like some kind of questionnaire or whatever. And I just was like, let me flip through a little bit. And I flipped to a page and the top of the page literally says, did you make it? Phew, that was the hard part. Nice job. It's just like, I feel like just not written for me at all. You know, so I guess I will say goodbye to it and feel happy that I'm moving on with my life. And yeah, just not for me. It says the surprising new science that will transform your sex life. And I guess I was just assuming this was going to be like a science-based look at sex, which I guess sounds ridiculous thinking about it. It's definitely more of a self-help book. And there's like, you know, things that you can do inside of it, like, you know, blah, 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 whatever. Just not for me at all. And again, not what I was expecting. There's the science that's in here is extremely basic. I am a nurse. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I went to nursing school, so I have like a very, you know, a good grasp of anatomy and like physiology and science in general regarding like the human body. So the stuff that was in here was extremely basic, and just nothing in here was eye-opening or enlightening or just good. It just is like a pop science book about sex for women specifically. And yeah, I just, you know, it's been lingering on my cart of shame for a really long time. And I eventually was just like, I know I'm not going to actually finish it, so why is it there still? So I'm glad to have that off of my shelves. And then the other one is It's Not My Fault, Self-Discovery and Admission by Wendy Bear. I might have mentioned this in the vlog footage, and so if I did, I will cut it out. Hey guys, so I am gonna keep trying to read books that I think that I don't want to keep. I was gonna do The Devil in the White City, which I'm just gonna do next. This is the next one that I've decided I'm going to attempt to read and probably not make that far into. It's Not My Fault, Self-Discovery and Admission by Wendy Bear. Jake was actually given this by Wendy herself. While I was in nursing school, he was living in Long Beach with some friends, and I don't know if she was like his neighbor or what, but she gave him this book, and I have asked in the past if I could get rid of it, and he said no, probably just because like the experience was very wild for him. But I don't want it on my shelves anymore, and I asked him and he said that I could get rid of it. So I'm gonna try to read a little bit and we'll see what happens. This short story, it's nonfiction. This instance is called the Lactation Olympics, and she has had a baby and she's breastfeeding, and her friend has also had a baby. So basically their boobs are filled with milk and they're drinking, and so they're having a time, blah, blah, blah. With cosmic force, I pulled out my left milk jug and squirted my life juice all over Laverne's ugly face. I smiled after seeking my revenge. My smile quickly turned into a frown because before I could even enjoy my success, she got me. That's right, Laverne had both her melons out faster than I could release a fart. They were going off like machine guns. Some even got into my eye. It burned like semen. So, yeah, I'm just like not interested. I mean, I never was, obviously, because I didn't ask for this. But good to know my instincts were right once again. And I did want to mention this. It reminds me of the Tucker Max books. I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell, which I read and loved when I was, 19 or whatever, and thought I was like being real cool and edgy, but ain't nobody got time. I don't care. Okay. So yeah, and it's more poorly. There's so many, like, I assume it was self-published, but there's a lot of editing problems. Like there's a lot of misspelled things and wrong words, etc. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that too. So if you're into like crude humor, and like sex and drinking escapades, then you'll probably, why not support a self-published woman? Better than buying Tucker Max's book, in my opinion. So, but yeah, just not for me. And also, it's just like, I just don't care about reading about you getting drunk and having sex with people and whatever. I think I have a clip of her talking about like her boob milk and like squirting it on people or something. I just don't care. Not interested. Okay, thanks. So I'm also going to be getting rid of this. So I feel very good about that.